1050 Radio. The millennial conservative resistance begins right here, right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the new millennial conservative resistance does indeed begin right here, right now with you. You are listening to, and damn, I hope you're watching the HoloNet on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 Radio. It is Saturday. It is the 10th of October in the year of our Lord 2020, year 4 of the Trumpian age, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, in the time of the Rona. I am your host, Matt Holloway. Oh, man. Oh my giddy aunt, the things I have seen, the things I have heard this past week. In our previous episode of the HoloNet, we talked at length ad nauseum about how 52%, 51 or 52%, hold on, let me get my numbers right. Let me get my numbers right here. Washington Examiner said 61% say the United States is on the verge of a civil war and 52% are already planning. And you ask me, why, Matthew? You bespectacled boy genius, you. How could you possibly believe that 61% of the United States say we're on the verge of a second civil war? Well, I'll tell you, dear listener or viewer. I'll tell you right here, I will direct you to the YouTube channel of none other than Keith Olbermann. You remember Keith, right? You remember Keith, part-time left-wing political hack, part-time sportscaster on ESPN, which have basically become, the same thing. Thank you, NBA, NFL, and everybody else who likes to suck China's collective. Yeah, all that fun stuff. Keith Olbermann came out with a YouTube episode. He's gone back to YouTube now. Guy's got 23.6 thousand subscribers, out the gate. I don't know. He's been building his brand for a long time. If you can call what he does a brand, I tend to call it shrill rantings that shake the very foundation of everything decent in this nation. But Keith has a video out there. It's Keith Olbermann number 2. And it's aptly named because it is a giant 2-flush that somebody took in the top tank. We used to call that doing a top shelf. It is number 2, all right. From Keith Olbermann. Trump's plan to nullify the election. Now, I'm not going to run this whole damn thing because copyrights being what they are. I'm already boned because I used the intro music for 30 seconds of Ace Combat 4. It's a fantastic song called Operations, by the way. Whenever I use any interesting music, I'm just kind of panned right from the start because YouTube and Facebook hate me. They hate me. They hate you. They hate everybody who has our opinions. So they actively stomp us, right? We don't get away with a single thing. Do you know why I use the censor button so prolifically? Because if I didn't, my reach would be flatlined. It would be done. I already get sub 100 views on YouTube. I get on a good show about 300 to 400 views on Facebust, but on alternate platforms like iHeartRadio, like Spreaker, like TuneIn, like BitChute, my beloved BitChute, I get the views. I get the listens. That's where my audience lives, baby. To the people on Facebook, love you dearly. To all, I think 15 subscribers on YouTube, because I've been throttled back so hard, the clutch is actually somewhere in my mid-colon as we speak. That's how far back I've been throttled. They don't like us. They're never going to like us. But they like Keith. They like Keith. They love his hot takes. They think they taste like cranberries and cream. They love it. Especially when he says unbelievably volatile like this that is actively calling for the political oppression of half the country. If this isn't a call to violence, I don't know what the hell is. Okay? So we're going to go to Mr. Keith Olbermann real quick. Now, the way I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to have to blast the audio. So if it's a little bad, I apologize for the people on radio. I'll try to splice it in better. But let's get this going right here with Mr. Keith Olbermann telling us about the worst person in the world with Keith Olbermann. This is from Wednesday. I'm just going to see if I can cue up the best bit here. Let's go to Keith.
They are not racist. They are not homophobic. They are not anti-Semitic. Who believe in fascism, the kind that...
You know, I'm actually going to...
And now it is Mike Pence who will not guarantee that he and 25th Amendment boy will accept the outcome of the election. And Senator Mike Lee...
25th Amendment boy, that's cute. We're going to get to that.
...of Utah tweeted late last night that democracy isn't the objective. Liberty, peace, and prosperity are... We want the human condition to flourish. Rank democracy can thwart that. And the
Yes, you wank job, you. Because this is not a democracy. This is a constitutional federalist republic. Okay? It is not a democracy. Direct democracy? Ask the Athenians how that shit worked out. I missed one. Demonetized again. Look at what you made me do, Keith.
FBI today has revealed it has arrested 6, quote, militia members, unquote, who wanted to kidnap Governor Whitmer of Michigan, conduct some sort of trial of her, and violently overthrow the state government, and had gotten so far as 2 surveillance trips to her summer home. Happily,
clutch your pearls.
Those 3 things have anything in common. Oh, yeah, they do. April 17th, Twitler said, liberate Michigan.
Oh, really, Keith? Stand by. The bullshit's about to fly. Hang on. Let's go to the story from the Washington Examiner, the Washington Times that just came out. What is this? Whitmer plot suspect Brian Caserta is an anarchist who hates enemy Trump and says he's a tyrant? Sure! We'll buy that one, Keith. We'll buy the fact that he's obeying marching orders from Das Führer. Yes, he is marching in lockstep with Twitler, as you called him. Sure, why not? He said, Trump is not your friend, dude. And it amazes me that people actually believe that when he's shown over and over again that he's a tyrant, the suspect says, every single person that works for the government is your enemy. Dude. Come on, Keith. Come on, man. Basic Google skills, please. Basic?
October 8th, armed right-wing terrorist arrested for trying to overthrow the government of Michigan.
Right-wing my ass. You never see anarchists who are quote-unquote right-wing. It's not a thing, bud. You can have small government people who are conservative. Yes, of course, but they're not anarchists. Even libertarians aren't anarchists. Libertarians even recognize the need for some government to exist, but it is a limited government. But you wouldn't understand that, would you, Keith? Nope. Too busy with your nose so far up Biden's... Never mind.
And a Trump stooge, Jason Miller, just attacked Governor Whitmer on Fox News for the crime of hating Donald Trump.
Oh, did he? Did he? Back to
overthrow the government of Michigan. And a Trump stooge, Jason Miller, just attacked Governor Whitmer on Fox News for the crime.
Jason Miller, Fox News, and let's see what he had to say. I didn't pull this one. I didn't listen to this whole spiel, so you're getting this kind of hot take. Jason Miller, Fox News, Whitmer. Let's see. Trump advisor attacks phony Gretchen Whitmer after Fox News. Here we go. Yahoo. I'm not going to put this up on the big one. But Jason Miller attacks Gretchen Whitmer, the target of a kidnapping plot, right after her presser on Fox News. Trump campaign senior advisor Jason Miller took an opportunity to attack Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer after the FBI conducted multiple arrests. If you want to talk about hatred, then Governor Whitmer, go look in the mirror, Miller said. The fact that she wakes up every day with such hatred in her heart toward President Trump, I mean, President Trump is the one out there condemning these radical groups. Yes, he is. Every time Whether they be on the right or they be on the left, we're all standing united against anyone who would conspire to cause such hatred and violence. There's no place for that in American society in any way, shape, or form. But why Governor Whitmer would go attacking President Trump? People can see right through it. They can see Governor Whitmer is a complete phony. So you leave out the fact that he completely trashed anybody who would do something like this. And he, as the left is so wont to complain about, actually disavowed them. He actively disavowed them. Ooh.
Of hating Donald Trump. Stochastic terror, saying the words, getting the subhuman sadists to oil up their weapons and carry it out. In addition to the 6 arrested, the FBI should be advocating charging Trump as an unindicted co-conspirator. And it all ties together, because while it was comforting to watch Kamala Harris school Pence, and yes, the bug in Pence's hair reminded us that 50 billion flies can't be wrong. But if tonight you are still thinking of them, you missed yet another unmistakable warning that this administration is willing to try to end the tradition of peaceful transfer of power. Will Trump accept the election results that he wants to condemn? The moderator asked the falsely pious failed talk show host last night. First, Pence deflected. Quote, I must tell you, Senator, your party has spent the last 3.5 years trying to overturn the results of the last election. Certainly that invoking of the impeachment is the most acrobatic twist in American political history. The impeachment would not have overturned the election. It would have given us President Mike Pence. Apparently Mike Pence doesn't know this.
No, you're a moron. An impeachment absolutely overturns the results of the last election because Mike Pence was not elected president, you goon. President Donald Trump was elected president. And everyone, including Mike Pence, everybody on the right, everybody on the left, who passed 6th grade social studies, Keith, is completely aware that the vice president of the United States succeeds the president in the event of incapacity or an impeachment. However, it has been said over and over and over again, on the left and the right, that if an impeachment against President Trump succeeded, a second impeachment would doubtlessly follow to implicate Vice President Mike Pence as well, resulting in the presidency of who? Nancy Pelosi, baby. So don't give me that bullshit. And never mind stochastic terrorism. We live in a nation where free speech still exists. I know it gets your panties in a twist. And don't look at me like that, Keith. I know it does. By the way, those glasses, the shits look like they pick up cable, and mine are thicker than hell. I know that I shouldn't go after an attack like that. The guy's old, but still, come on, man. Who told you those look good before you got on camera? Anyway, I digress.
He's yet once to condemn.
Okay, it keeps automatically playing that. That's the next video.
Asked again, Pence got down to Trump's dream of a coup. Quote, if we have a free and fair election, we know we're going to have confidence in it, he said, and I believe in my heart that President Trump will be reelected for 4 more years. Wrong answer, fascist.
What? If we have a free and fair election, President Trump will be elected in 4 more years. That should be the answer of anybody running for office. That if we have a free and fair election, I believe that the American people will vote for me. Wouldn't you? And plus, where the hell do you get off calling Mike Pence a fascist? Explain. They never actually bothered to go through with this, explaining how Mike Pence is supposedly a fascist. But go ahead, Keith. We'll let you keep going.
It was more mundane, less theatrical than Trump's threats, than Trump's tautology of, I'll accept a free and fair election result, and I'll also decide what's free and what's fair. But it all means the same thing.
President Trump never said he would decide what's free and what's fair. There is no citation of this. I haven't been able to locate it. If you can, correct me in the comments. If you can find where President Trump said he will decide what is free and what is fair, you let me know, because that would be headline news globally. You know who decides what's a free and what's a fair election? There are 2 bodies that can do it. The Supreme Court of the United States of America. Congress, in the form of the House, actually handles all presidential election fallacies, all issues. Read your Constitution. Evidently you didn't, Keith. Keep going.
thing. These creatures, Trump, Pence, Barr, Ratcliffe, the others, they are authoritarians for whom the word democracy is nothing more than a brand name, and they...
No, it's not a brand name. It's actually a party name, the Democratic Party, because we don't have a democracy in the United States. And calling them creatures, what does that make you, Keith?
will use any means available to stay in power.
Really?
It is clear in retrospect now that in June, Trump and Pence and Barr and the rest of them tested one option for staying in power: the attack on the peaceful protesters in Lafayette Park who were in the way of Trump's Bible photo op on June 1st was...
You mean the peaceful protesters that refused to obey police orders to disperse, right? Right? You mean those? Just alongside the protesters nationwide who were burning down entire cities. Like those? Yeah, okay.
I am now convinced less about clearing paths than it was about gauging the use of future force. It was about seeing whether or not the military would support Trump staying in office regardless of the outcome of the election. Would they do anything Trump asked?
God, you're so full of shit.
The answer came quickly. A day later, on June 2, when Trump floated using the Insurrection Act against the protesters, the Pentagon leaked to several reporters its discomfort with even the possibility of it. The same day, the Secretary of Defense leaked, backed away from the photo op, said he was told they were going there to inspect damage. The next day, June 3rd, was the day of the generals. The Secretary of Defense went on record to say the Insurrection Act was only as good as a last resort and, quote,
Of course it's a last resort, you dolt.
we are not in one of those situations now.
Nobody claimed we were at that point.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs the same day issued an order reminding all troops that they owe their loyalty to the Constitution. The Commandant of the National Guard issued a reminder about the Constitution having precedence over the President. The Commandant of the Marine Corps sent out a memo to his own troops, reminding them they are against discrimination in this country and against division.
So you mean a bunch of generals and commandants got together to virtue signal the ever-loving hell out of the American public right alongside most members of corporate America because this was the height of the Black Lives Matter movement? Shocker, Keith.
Trump's original Secretary of Defense the same day described him as a threat to the Constitution and compared Trump to the Nazis.
Yeah, because he's been cast out and is clearly pissed off about not having a job anymore. Comparison to the Nazis. Gee, that's fresh. That's new. Let's see where you go with that, Keith.
These were not coincidences. They were warnings.
No, these were pissed off virtue signaling opportunists, Keith, and you've been played, fool.
To Trump, from the generals.
Not so much.
This is not to say a beaten Trump would not try to use the military by inspiring or staging the proverbial Reichstag fire.
Wait, what? Did you just say he's going to stage a Reichstag fire? What, he's going to burn down Congress, Keith? Are you effing serious?
But those 3 days in June suggested that if he suddenly announced the election had been compromised by China or Iran, it is doubtful that our military leaders would listen to him.
No, the military leaders wouldn't. It's not their damn job. You know who would? Congress, if they're doing their job, and the Supreme Court, if they're doing their job.
So, the play that Trump and Pence are making no effort to hide is not a military coup per se, but rather to inspire these militias like the terrorists in Michigan.
The terrorists in Michigan, who, for the record, are anarchists who said Trump is their enemy and that anyone who works for the government is the enemy. Right, Keith?
Turn Election Day into chaos and then sue to overturn the election because Election Day was chaos.
You mean like the Democrats who've been wargaming this and have actually set out their plans to wage massive lawfare against the Republican Party in any event, no matter who wins or loses, as has been detailed in multiple reports across multiple outlets at this point.
If they get Judge Barrett on the court and they get enough Republicans to support it and they get a close enough voting outcome, they may try Bush v. Gore on the grand scale.
It doesn't get any grander than Bush v. Gore, you emphatic wacko. It's a parallel. It's not an upper level grand scale. On a grand scale. My God, man. No, it would be an echo of the exact same decision of the Supreme Court in Bush v. Gore. You twit.
Yet, without broad support from rank-and-file Republicans, it cannot happen. And sure enough, in a Washington Post story today from Robert Costa, there are the hints that some Republicans are trying to back away from Trump. Underscored, those priceless moments when Martha McSally in the Arizona Senate debate the other night was almost pretending she did not recognize Trump's name. Even Senator Cornyn of Texas, who you would not think was smart enough to do so, was quoted criticizing Trump. But if the military won't keep Trump in power and the members of the Republican Party seem to be less likely than ever before to risk arrest for an attempted coup, why is Trump still refusing to say he will leave? And why did bland old Pence echo him in last night's debate? I think I know why. To figure this part out, we must recognize the true depth of the darkness by understanding what might be a more awful truth still standing behind this demonic president. Our best case scenario, our brightest outcome on election day is a landslide so thorough and unequivocal that even Trump's enablers, the Republican Party, political whores, every one of them,
Whoa. Political whores. I love it. I love it.
will not go out onto the limb with him and try to overturn his election defeat in the courts or on the streets or with the military. It must be a win so overwhelming that they and these maggots who believe in...
Ooh, maggots. I like... Damn. That's clever. Is that like MAGA with a lowercase ts? Maggots or maggots? Is that what you're going for? Is that what you did right there?
fascism, the kind that Donald Trump has already brought to this country, scurry back into their...
Again, with this definition of fascism. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
holes, disbelieving and shocked, but, like him, ultimately interested only in one thing, saving their own asses.
Ooh, Keith said bad word.
Our best case scenario is a defeated Trump having no alternative but to concede defeat. And yet, you know in your heart what would follow even that decisive and blessed moment.
You know it deep in your colon what would follow that moment, because it is also shit.
Trump actually accepts losing. He will not even pause for breath before he immediately announces that he is seeking the presidency in 2024.
Because that's what politicians do, dipshit.
And therein lies the real terror of this time of the madman. What he revealed about America, and to the unprincipled scum who have been for decades merely pretending they are not racist, they are not homophobic, they are not anti-Semitic, they are not anti-democracy, they are not obsessed with violence and death. The shy haters. What he revealed is they will not go away just because Trump concedes an election. They have been authenticated by him. They have been...
All right, I'm going to pause him here. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get to the most insane bit of this, and then I promise I'm not going to spend the whole show on it, but you got to hear this crap, guys. You're listening to HoloNet on the Mighty, the Powerful Mojo 50 Radio. Stick around.
McDonald, it's true. Has it happened to you? 'Cause it starts with a dime and it ends with a dollar. Makes me wanna get up and holler. Hey, what has it happened to you? 'Cause it's happening all around and no one's making a sound about it. We gotta take back America, 1, 2, 3. Take back America, you and me. Take back America, or we're all the heart of America polluted by a mind of greed. It's true. Has it happened to you? 'Cause it starts with a match and ends up in rubble. I think we could be in for a whole lot of trouble. Hey, what has it happened to you? Because it's happening all around and no one's making a sound. No one's making a sound. No one's making a sound. Sound off. 1, 2, 3. Take back America, you and me. Sound off. 1, 2, 3. Take back America, you and me. The youth of America molested by Ronald McDonald. It's true. Has it happened to you? Starts with a dime and ends with a dollar. Makes me wanna get up and holler. Hey, what has it happened to you? Because it's happening all around and no one's making a sound. 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 Sound off! 1, 2, 3. Take back America, you and me. Sound off!
You're listening to the Holonet on Mojo 50 Radio. The millennial conservative resistance begins right here, right now.
Oh, yes, indeed. You're listening to the millennial conservative resistance right here, right now, with you on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 Radio. Did not plan to spend this much of the show on it, but man, just doing this shot-for-shot reaction to this Keith Olbermann, just what's the word I'm looking for here? Like Spurgfest, I think is good. He's gone insane. He's gone round the bend. And his madness will be manifest in the next couple of minutes. But before we get to that, I blew through like 3 ad spots. So real quick, I want to talk to you about our buddies over at My Patriot Supply. I want you to go to preparewithmojo50.com, preparewithmojo50.com. They are the people that will help you prepare, not panic. In case of an emergency, you can use the 4-week emergency food supply at $197 with free shipping and handling. You can limit 3 per household on that, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, or you can do the 2-week food supply, 92 servings, it's $97. This is the most responsible thing you can do with your Trump bucks. Make sure you check it out. Preparewithmojo50.com, preparewithmojo50.com. great partners of ours. And while you are preparing yourself, check out patriotenergyaz.org. patriotenergyaz.org/mojo50. Patriot Energy, they can save you 30 to 40% off of your electric bill every month. It's zero down, zero installation. Add equity to your home. And there's a 26% federal tax incentive on there as well, okay? Now, this is a fantastic program. You just reach out to them. They've got your six. They are not high-pressure type salesmen. Full disclosure, I'm working with these guys these days, and they do fantastic work. So just go to patriotenergyaz.org/mojo50. Put your name, email, phone number, address, current electric provider, and let them know who you heard it from. Let them know you heard it from Matt Holloway on the HoloNet, and check that out today. So 2 great ways to prepare, and that'll take us into this next bit with our buddy Keith Olbermann. But again, I wanted to remind you that we're looking at how does our country feel we're on the verge of civil war when one of the most prominent talking heads on the left is talking like this. And I just want to point out that people of the same caliber here on the right. So if you look at and you know, I'm sorry to put him in such inauspicious company. If you're looking at like Glenn Beck, if you're looking at like Brad Staggs, if you're looking at like Dominic Izzo or anybody else like that, if they said half of this, half of it, they'll be thrown off every platform. Guaranteed, automatically. Calling people maggots, creatures, this dehumanizing speech. And I'm not for cancel culture. He has the right to say this garbage. But standards need to apply in both directions, man. It's not, rules for me, but not for thee. Dude, this guy would be ripped down off the air by anybody if he was on the right. If he was saying these things about supporters of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Believe it. So, Keith, continue to illuminate us, good sir.
Been told that their failures are somebody else's fault. They have been reassured that their worthlessness is the result of enemy A or enemy B or enemy...
Ooh, people, you're accusing all of your ideological opponents of being racists, of being worthless, of being homophobes, all that fun stuff. This is who you really think the other half of the country is, don't you, Keith? What a terrible world you live in.
Enemy C. They have been given 5 years in the sunlight, and they are a blight that will be with us for generations.
Ooh, they're a blight. And mind you, this is what Keith thinks about everyone who supports President Trump. Everyone. The millions upon millions of voters who voted for President Trump in 2016, who intend to vote for him now in 2020. Every single one of us are these creatures in Keith Olbermann's eyes and in the eyes of so many on the left. And you know what? People don't have any compunction about doing things to creatures, do they?
There can be no mistaking what is ahead of us in this best of possible scenarios. A period in which a Trump-led minority will continue to terrorize this country. And Trump, whose only barely human delight comes from the applause of the morons in the crowd, will seek that pleasure again and endlessly until the day he dies. We unleashed this terrorism via the activating mechanism of reality television. Trump unleashed his terrorists via the activating mechanism of encouraging them to hate. Trump can be and must be expunged. The hate he has triggered, the Pandora's box he has opened, they will not be so easily destroyed. So, let us brace ourselves. The task is twofold. The terrorist Trump must be defeated, must be destroyed, must be devoured at the ballot box.
The terrorist Trump.
And then he and his enablers and his supporters and his collaborators and the Mike Lees and the William Barrs and the Sean Hannitys and the Mike Pences and the Rudy Giulianis and the Kyle Rittenhouses and the Amy Coney Barretts must be prosecuted and convicted and removed from our society while we try to rebuild it and to rebuild the world.
Whoa.
Holy shit, dude.
Whoa. Oh my God. Hold on. Roll that back.
The task is twofold. The terrorist Trump must be defeated, must be destroyed, must be devoured at the ballot box.
Okay, I get it. You called him a terrorist. You said he must be defeated, destroyed at the ballot box. Okay, so I can... All right, I disagree, but okay.
And then he and his enablers and his supporters...
He, his enablers, and his supporters. That means President Trump, everybody that voted for him, and everybody that supports him and agrees with him. All right?
and his collaborators...
So all Republicans in the House and Senate and on down the ticket.
And the Mike Lees and the William...
Mike Lee, Congressman.
Barrs and
The Attorney General of the United States, William Barr.
the Sean Hannitys and the...
An opinion writer and Fox News personality, Sean Hannity. Like you, Keith.
Mike Pences and
The Vice President, former governor.
the Rudy Giulianis and the
Former mayor of New York City, prominent attorney.
Kyle Rittenhouses and the...
Young man who acted in self-defense, and his case remains to be adjudicated, which I believe he'll be exonerated, especially as new video evidence has come out to very clearly show that he acted in self-defense.
the Amy Coney Barretts.
Amy Coney Barrett. Amy Coney Barrett, whose only crimes to date have been to be Catholic, have 7 kids, have adopted a couple of them from Haiti, to be confirmed as a judge, and now to be nominated for the Supreme Court. And what do you want to do with him, Keith?
Must be prosecuted and
Must be prosecuted. For what, Keith?
convicted
Convicted. Of what?
and removed from our society.
And removed from our society? What the are you thinking? Removal from our society. So you're suggesting what? Exile? Because putting somebody in prison isn't necessarily removing them from society per se. I suppose you could think along those lines. So you're suggesting, at best, imprisoning or exiling Amy Coney Barrett, Bill Barr, Rudy Giuliani, Kyle Rittenhouse, Vice President Pence, Sean Hannity, and I missed a congressman in there. All Republicans who support the president in office, also all congressmen, all senators who support the president and the governors, plus everybody who voted for him and everybody who supports him, should be removed. No, you didn't say should be. Must be removed from society? Holy. Are you kidding me? Is there anybody prominent, respectable, serious, that has an audience on the right who would ever conceive of saying that everyone who supports Joe Biden and Kamala Harris needs to be removed from our society? Need to be prosecuted, convicted, and removed from our society. Are you out of your mind? You are literally talking about political cleansing. This is why, Keith, this is why 61%, by the way, great screen cap, 61% of Americans believe that a civil war is inevitable, and 52% are actually preparing for it. Thank you for bringing us to that point, you and all your friggin' colleagues on the left in the mainstream media. This is your idea of responsible, and YouTube keeps this shit up? Are you serious? 23.6 thousand subscribers, 43,000 plus views on this video alone?
While we try to rebuild it and to rebuild the world Trump has nearly destroyed by turning it over to a virus.
You mean the world that has been affected by a virus that has a 95 at least % survival rate that was released by communist China, either deliberately or through their sheer pants-shitting ineptitude? Wow!
Remember it, even as we dream of a return to reality and safety and the country for which our forefathers died.
The country for which our forefathers died has been dead a long mother time. A long time. It died in the early 1900s, baby, when Woodrow Wilson decided to start taxing unapportioned income. At that point, every single founding father would have risen from the grave, whole cloth, and left all manner of false appendages wedged way up the bunghole. All right, they would have absolutely lost their minds at what this nation has become. And the majority of the changes that would light their fire, that would drive them insane, have been democratic changes. Woodrow Wilson, FDR, LBJ, Bill Clinton.
That the fight is not just to win an election, but to win it by enough to chase, at least for a moment, Trump and the maggots off the stage, and then try to clean up what they left. Remember it, even though to remember it means remembering that the fight does not end November 3rd, but in many ways will only begin that day.
And this is why we prepare, because we do remember, and because so many people on the left, in the mainstream media, are broadcasting this message loud as they possibly can to ever-swelling audiences that this is an existential struggle for the soul of our nation, and that only the complete removal from society will do. Yeah, stand by for today's headlines. Keith? 3.6 thousand likes, 625 dislikes, and for once in my life, our salvation has come from the YouTube comments section. Check this out. Look at this. I never felt it in my soul. Keith is doing a parody of an unhinged liberal, right? Keith wants to turn at Orange Man bad. Funny how all the other political D-bags that have been in office for decades and done absolutely nothing beyond vote themselves higher paychecks are okay. The last person who compared humans to maggots was A.H. that killed systematically millions, and you talk just like him. Ooh, that's a Hitler reference. K.O., I'm afraid you've gone round the bend. I'm no fan of the president, but prosecuting him and convicting his supporters sounds an awful lot like the very things you accuse him of. Wow. There's no rant like a Keith Olbermann rant. This guy is closer to Hitler than he realizes. Most liberals are, though. This is the commentary we've been missing. There's only one Olbermann. This clown seems to give a pass to the DNC for openly stating don't concede under any circumstances. He probably doesn't know about the rabid anti-Trump anarchist who is leading the plot. What a tool. Freedom of press does not mean freedom of consequences. Keith Olbermann wants to get his people in power, then round up and remove the undesirables from society to achieve a bright future stolen from him due to a particular group. I wonder where we've heard that sort of rhetoric before. I'm embarrassed I was ever a fan of yours, Keith. Yes, Keith, you keep it vague so you can stay on YouTube, but we all know what you mean by the removal of all Trump supporters. Kyle Rittenhouse was a Hispanic kid who got chased by armed felons and fought back. He won. That's a good thing. WTF, seriously, he needs help. I'm not being hyperbolic. He's insane. They call Trump Hitler, but Olbermann is literally ready to put people in camps. The Third Reich called. It wants its rhetoric back. Good night and good luck. Up next, Rachel Maddow. Ah, the good old days. Keith, I luckily never heard of you, but my friend Dinesh made me aware of you today, and he's right in every respect. Oh, I forgot. Trump Pence by a landslide. Take it to them, Keith. So happy you can dissemble the corruption again. Sure, buddy. So, this man's TDS is so funny to watch, it's actually sad. If having a brain were a crime, old butthead would get off scot-free. So, I never thought I would have my faith in this country and this world restored by the YouTube comment section, which is supposedly the most toxic morass outside of 4chan. Oh my God. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you. Not YouTube the company, because you guys, just in every possible orifice which a person can be. Okay? But the YouTube comment section, well done, lads. Well done. So we spent the whole show on this. Yes, the whole show, except for the last 10 minutes. Guys, I don't know what else to say. Funny, I have a talk show, though. But this is exactly why so many of us are so convinced on the right that a seemingly inevitable confrontation with the left is coming. When this is the level of rhetoric from a prominent left-wing pundit. This is like the same as Rush Limbaugh. The same level on the left. It's their equivalent, although they can't touch Rush's reach. Speaking of which, did anybody else hear about President Trump dropping an F-bomb on Rush? I couldn't get the audio yet, but wow. Drop the F-bomb on Iran. Love it. So, quick story that I wanted to hit, and I've got a couple of minutes left to do it. I think I'm going to hit 2 more stories here before we go. On the post-millennial, and I'm not going to delve too deeply on this because Tim Pool did some great reporting on it. Story coming out, Yelp pledges to create blacklist of companies accused of racism. Not proven, just j'accuse. Yelp, the social media platform where users can find, compare, and review businesses, has announced plans to create a blacklist of companies that have been associated with egregious racially charged actions. This is the kind of stuff that makes people believe that a new civil war is inevitable. This kind of stuff. They don't just come after you for your political speech anymore. They don't just yell at you on Twitter. They don't just deplatform you from Facebook. Now they're coming for your very livelihood. They've come for your ability to make money, to own a business, to run a business. Yelp saying that if you're accused of racism, they're going to put a mark on your Yelp page. Quick broadcast from the future. Yelp's going to get sued a lot because unless you have proof, that's libel. That is published libel. If you accuse a company of racism and that results in them losing business, that's demonstrable loss. That is defamation of character. That is libel. They're going to get sued. And I can't wait because they're going to get what's coming. But this is what the left is out to do. They're not just out to muzzle your political speech anymore. They want, as Olbermann said, to remove us from society. That means you don't get to work, you don't get access to social media platforms, you don't get anything. Anything. Just look at the social credit system in China. That's what they want here. And that is what is on the ballot this November. Make no mistake. Everything is at stake now. But if there are voices on the right telling you it's time to take up arms, or it's time to overthrow the government, or it's time to forcibly remove people, a little bit like Keith, push back. Resist those people. Distance yourself from them. Because our power is in the ballot box. And I will cast my vote with vehemence, with vicious paper cuts. As Michael Moore said, a vote for Trump is the loudest possible you we have left to give. Vote in person. Vote. If you vote for Joe Jorgensen, if you vote for Donald Trump, vote. Because right now, political correctness is on the ballot. Right now, cancel culture is on the ballot. The Green New Deal is on the ballot. I don't care what Kamala Harris says. It's on their damn website. It's part and parcel. All of it is up for grabs now. And if there are election shenanigans, and already in Arizona, our deadline has been extended. Yeah, the deadline in Arizona to register to vote was up like a day ago. It's been extended by court order to October 23rd now. The shenanigans have begun. I tweeted it out. I said, as Master Yoda, begun the Arizona election shenanigans have. In much the same voice, like he said, begun the Clone Wars have. I don't want to say begun the Second American Civil War has. I don't want to say that. I don't want to report that. I don't want that to happen in my lifetime. But if standing now I can prevent my children from having to deal with this, then I will stand for the Constitution. I will vote. And I will not let them take away my voice. We live in dangerous times. What I will tell you is the same that we tell you with our Prepare with Mojo 50. Prepare, don't panic. Preparation, not panic. Be in a state of constant readiness to protect yourself, protect your family, protect your property. Provide for those you love. Speaking of things we love, before we run out of time, did want to tell you about American Pride Roasters, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Get Mojo 50's official coffee. Brad's Brown Bag, you can still take advantage of that. Defender's Light 8-ounce APR Gold. Defender's got their own brand now, man. Oh, come on. DM at DM. You're killing me, bro. Watson's White Chocolate on the roof. $20, same as downtown. And if you haven't done it yet, everyone deserves a Constitutional. The Constitutional on SueñoDeTorres.com. SueñoDeTorres.com/pages of Constitutional. And by the way, the HoloNet merch is in. It is in. This is a really nice shirt, too. See the back of it? You got the Betsy on the back. Really liking this. And you can also, of course, pick up your HoloNet coffee mug, which is gone because I put it in the sink on the break. But yes, all fantastic ways you can support the HoloNet, support Mojo 50 by doing business with one of our sponsors. Time has come for us to support each other. That means supporting the content that you love so it doesn't disappear, because we're about to lose all support. all tolerance from social media. It's going away. Facebook is going to throttle this to oblivion. YouTube is going to throttle this to oblivion while they pump up content like Keith Olbermann. The only way that we can stand is with your help. And I thank you for that. I want to thank my Patreon supporters for the regular donations that you make. By the way, if you want to check that out, that's patreon.com. Hang on, I don't pull this out much. Patreon.com/thehollownet. There we go. You can support the HollowNet. We have 3 support levels on there. I think it's 3 or 4. $1, $5, and $10. You have three levels of support on there if you want to, and it's greatly helpful. And just take care of each other. Be ready to take care of your friends, your family, and everyone else who is in need around you. Take care of your church. 61% of us believe that a civil war is inevitable because of rhetoric like Keith Olbermann's, because of rhetoric that we're hearing coming from the mainstream media. When they report that right-wing militia extremists attempted to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer, and they conveniently leave out the fact that they were anarchists. It's insane. And music means it's time for us to go. But I do want to tell you first. I keep doing that because I keep thinking it's at 28 minutes. It's 28:50. That hope for a peaceful re-election of President Trump is not lost. Hope for a peaceful 2021 and 2024 is not lost as long as we keep fighting for it. So stick together. Watch out for yourselves. Watch out for each other. Support each other in all that you do. And don't fall victim to the fear. Not of the coof, the COVID, the Rona, or the Civil War. Good night. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. From Phoenix and transmission.